He's a very impressive young man. He's poised, he's calm, he's smart. You can tell that he's been raised by really quite honestly a Hall of Fame dad. Look, we're going to get to know him even more over the course of the spring, but he's really impressive.
The Cleveland Browns are clearly making strategic moves, while the rest of the AFC North is stuck in simpler games. Andrew Berry's recent moves have definitely made waves across the league. This front office isn't the type to just kick back and bask in the glory of last year's top-ranked defense. If you thought that, you were completely mistaken. We're diving into a complete transformation of the defensive line and a special team showcase that highlights one undeniable truth. Cleveland is ready to make a bold move in 2026. However, the most pressing question isn't about their latest signing. The glaring Pro Bowl caliber gap on the offensive line remains, and it could be the deciding factor for the entire season. Is Andrew Berry gearing up for the ultimate heist? Or is he leaving the blind side completely exposed for a potential disaster?
I think certainly, playing more efficiently, not putting the ball in harm's way as much, would be important. While maintaining the ability to produce out of structure and generate explosive plays. You're not going to see all of that in the upcoming months because we're not on the field. So the biggest thing that he can do is.
Before we jump into these wild roster updates, hit that subscribe button if you're looking for the quickest NFL updates out there. We're tracking every single move this team makes, and you definitely don't want to miss the breaking news that's on the way. Chapter 1. The Defensive Reinforcement. Let's dive straight into the action. The news dropped late last night, and it's a solid lock. The Browns have officially signed former Buffalo Bills defensive end A.J. Epinesa to a one-year contract. We're discussing a deal that could reach as high as $5 million. In the realm of NFL salary caps, that's what we refer to as a total steal. Look, I get what the doubters are thinking. What's the deal with the Browns and their need for more defensive ends? We've got the top squad in the game. The analytics show that Cleveland's defensive front was top-notch last year. But Andrew Berry clearly thinks you can never have too many explosive pass rushers. Epinesa is arriving after a run in Buffalo, showcasing his ability to be a reliable force on the field. We're talking about a player who's consistently delivered with more than 6 sacks in multiple seasons. Last year, the raw box score might only reflect 2.5 sacks, but let's dive into the context behind it. He just got the chance to start in 2 games. He's an absolute beast in the rotation. With Myles Garrett commanding triple teams and keeping the offensive line busy, Epinesa is set to thrive in that system. The pressure rates reveal the true narrative in this situation. Aside from Myles Garrett, who is clearly in a league of his own, Epinesa showcases a blazing fast 8.7% pressure rate. That places him squarely among players like Alex Wright, who had a huge impact last season.
It was really, really good. Proud of you.
Cool.
Really, really nice job.
You're not fully proud, kinda.
I'm
kinda proud.
Look, for your first shot, it was a perfect no, but you made plays, you operated, it just stacked.
I love when you tell the facts, do you? No, but it's okay, it's okay.
Listen, you did a nice job, okay? So just take what you learned from tonight, apply it to the joint practices and in the next preseason game. All right?
You were the real player now. I'm gonna bring that sauce to you.
I know you will. I know you will. Really good job. That's a great start.
By replacing Cam Thomas with Epinesa, the Browns not only added youth to their roster, but also boosted their explosiveness on the field. Picture a fresh Epinesa stepping onto the field in the fourth quarter, just as the opposing left tackle is worn out from battling Garrett all game long. It's about to get wild out there. But hold on, you won't believe how this move ties into the rest of the trenches, because the defensive line isn't the only area to watch. Andrew Berry is on the lookout for those underrated talents. Chapter 2. The Trench Warfare Strategy. The upgrades aren't limited to just the edge rushers. The Browns are constructing a solid barrier right in the middle of their lineup. Kalia Davis joining the San Francisco 49ers is a clever acquisition that deserves more attention than it's been getting on the national stage. This dude is an absolute force in the trenches, a 300-pound powerhouse who showed up for every game on a Super Bowl-worthy Niners squad. Think back to last year when our offensive line faced some serious challenges. As the depth began to dwindle, the run defense took a hit. Davis is the safety net we've been craving. Pair him with the healthy Malik Collins and the emerging talent Mike Hall Jr., and just like that, Cleveland boasts a front four capable of shutting down the run on first down and taking down the quarterback on third down. New defensive coordinator Mike Rutenberg must be thrilled with the incredible talent at his disposal for rotation. Challenge accepted. Who's going to be the true game changer on this defense next year? Is it the fresh face at Vanessa, or do you believe one of the young guns like Mike Hall Jr. will make that big jump? Hit me with the name in the comments below. This reasoning is straightforward. Create a rotation so extensive that fatigue is never an issue. While the defense is shaping up to be an all-pro unit, the offense just made a move that clearly indicates a complete change in strategy. Chapter 3. The game-changing evolution of special teams. The Browns just stormed into the backyard of their fiercest rival and grabbed a crucial part of their identity. The Cleveland Browns have struck a deal with Tylan Wallace, the former wide receiver and special team standout from the Baltimore Ravens. Alright, I get it. You were likely expecting a huge blockbuster trade for a superstar wide receiver. Before diving into the draft strategy, let's not overlook the significance of the Wallace signing. This decision clearly shows the impact of Todd Manning. The coaching staff is fully aware of what Wallace contributes to the team. He's not showing up to take on the WR1 role. He's arriving to be a game changer in the third phase. Last year, the Browns' return game was, to be frank, pretty rough at times. Wallace has established himself as a reliable returner, boasting a career punt return touchdown to his name. He's quick, he's bold, and he managed to snag a touchdown against us last year. If you can't take down M, then you might as well bring M on board, right? This signing shows that the Browns are focusing on the crucial details, the field position battles that are essential for winning tight games in the AFC North. However, this brings us to the huge issue that we can't ignore. If Wallace is just a depth piece and a special teams player, what does that mean for the starting wide receiver core? Chapter 4. The high-stakes draft day bet. Andrew Berry pretty much laid out his strategy at the NFL Combine. The team will be both targeted and opportunistic, as he pointed out. At this moment, the focus is on the upcoming NFL Draft. This year's wide receiver class is incredibly stacked. Cleveland is definitely gearing up to target that position with several picks. If the draft kicked off today, I'd wager my last dime that the Browns would snag at least 2 receivers in the first 4 rounds. There are whispers about trades, no doubt, but why shell out a fortune for someone like Stephon Diggs when he's past 30 and could bring some locker room issues? Why spend big on Jawan Jennings when you can snag a younger, faster option on a rookie deal? The game plan is straightforward. Strengthen the less exciting areas of the roster via free agency. Think backup guards, return specialists, and rotational ends, so that when draft day arrives, you can focus on selecting the top talent available. However, there's a significant, alarming gap on the roster that a rookie may struggle to address. Chapter 5. The left tackle crisis. We need to discuss the blind side. The left tackle position is currently the sole obstacle preventing the Browns from making a serious playoff push. Andrew Berry has shown he's not afraid to make bold moves, bringing in Titus Howard through a trade and locking down Zion Johnson with a big contract. However, the most crucial position on the offensive line remains uncertain. Here comes Taylor Decker. It's surprising to see Decker still available in free agency. He's a true elite starting left tackle, having given up just 2 sacks throughout the entire last season. He's got the seasoned experience, the impressive PFF grades, and the grit that this city truly appreciates. Rasheed Walker's surprisingly low contract with Carolina caught everyone off guard. I believe Cleveland let a great opportunity slip away, but it's clear the market is shifting. If Taylor Decker is aiming for a short-term deal to boost his market value, the Browns should be the first team to reach out. Picture this. We bring Decker on board with a 2-year contract. Out of nowhere, the urgency to secure a day-1 starter in the draft disappears. Consider taking a chance on a developmental tackle such as Monroe Freely or Caleb Lamo. Allow them to learn from a seasoned pro like Decker for a year, honing their footwork without damaging their confidence by throwing them into the deep end right from the start. That would be a legendary power move by Andrew Berry. plug the gap with an experienced player, then hit the draft to snag a game-changing superstar. Chapter 6. The Journey to the Championship. As we find ourselves in March, the plan is starting to take shape. Andrew Berry is crafting a squad that's completely solid, with no weak links in sight. He's enhanced the defensive depth, addressed the special teams' return problems, and strengthened the interior of the offensive line. The focused intensity he vowed to bring at the Combine is precisely what we're witnessing now. This past year was an incredible narrative, but this year has a different vibe. These moves are executed with a level of calculated precision. Re-signing players like Corey Borquez for a bargain and adding versatile linemen such as Elton Jenkins, who can fill multiple roles, is the way to go. Here's the blueprint for constructing a roster that can withstand the challenges of a tough NFL season. New defensive coordinator Mike Rutenberg has the tools at his disposal. Todd Manning has his crew. The skill is undeniable. Now, it's all about that last piece of the puzzle. If Berry can snag one more major player, particularly for that left tackle position, this Cleveland squad won't just be a challenging opponent. This team is going to be the one that sends shivers down the spines of every other squad when they check their upcoming matchups. But the real question is the front office biding their time until the draft to discover their next big star? Could there be one more jaw-dropping signing before the weekend wraps up? The Browns are crafting something remarkable, and the rest of the league is beginning to take notice. The vibe in the building is electric. The roster keeps getting stronger every single day. For the first time in ages, it seems like Cleveland isn't merely aiming to compete, they're gearing up to take charge. Keep your eyes peeled, because the next play might just be the game changer we've all been waiting for. Do you think the Browns should go after Taylor Decker? Drop a comment and hit S for sign or D for don't. I'm curious to find out what the fans think about this situation. Are there any particular draft prospects you want me to break down that would mesh well with this new offensive scheme?